know what this place is. The Timekeepers have built quite the circus. And I see the clowns are playing their parts to perfection.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart.
I am smart.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said.
This is absurd.
Sign this too.
We protect the proper flow of time. You picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Why me?
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Nah.
You really believe in this Loki variant?
Luckily, he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
Why? It is adorable that you think you could possibly manipulate me. I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
You're not big on trust, are you?
You can trust me.
Loki, I've studied almost every moment of your entire life. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
I'd never do it again.
What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, and today we got our very first full-length trailer for the Loki series that is coming to Disney+. This trailer is just packed with Easter eggs, and it gives us a lot more information on what exactly is going to be happening in this series. There are many important things to go over in this trailer, like the TVA and who exactly is our specific Loki that we're going to be following throughout this series. Why does the TVA exactly need this specific Loki's help, or any Loki at all for the matter of fact? We see female Loki and a few other versions of Loki all throughout this trailer, and there are also big connections to Ant Man Quantumania, where we know that they're going to be introducing Kang the Conqueror, and obviously some connections to Thor Love and Thunder as well. I have some more Captain America Shield giveaways coming up soon, so be sure to subscribe so you can enter that giveaway and so you can get all the latest MCU videos. So we start off right away with Loki being captured and taken to the TVA's headquarters. So this takes place right after Avengers Endgame, where Loki stole the Tesseract and disappeared. As you can see, he's wearing the same exact suit, and the guard that has captured him has the Tesseract in her hand. We then get a better look at the inside of the TVA, and we get a look at the three statues, which are the Timekeepers, the original founders of the TVA. And speaking of connections to Ant Man Quantumania, at one point in time, Kang the Conqueror is believed to be a timekeeper. He has done many things throughout many different timelines because Kang the Conqueror is the master of time travel. And Loki says he actually knows what this place is, and the Timekeepers have built quite the circus. And we actually see the three faces of the Timekeepers again behind Gugu Mbatha Raw, and her character has still yet to be revealed to us, but it's clear that she works for the TVA. There is speculation that she could perhaps be Ravenna Lengslinger, who at one point in time was a love interest of Kang the Conqueror. Now, as we go through the TVA, through the different scenes, we can see many different hourglasses on some of the walls and some of the doors, and there are clocks just everywhere. And if you notice, they all have different times because they are for different timelines. Now, we hear Owen Wilson finally talk about what the TVA actually does. And he says the TVA protects the proper flow of time, and this is a direct callback to what the Ancient One was telling Professor Hulk in Avengers Endgame. She was specifically talking about how the Infinity Stones all together created what they perceived as the flow of time, and if you removed one of the Infinity Stones, essentially everything would go to chaos, which is what we see here in this trailer when they show us different timelines. This is all due to Loki taking the Tesseract, taking the Space Stone out of that main timeline. The flow of time for the main timeline has been disrupted and is now thrown into chaos, and these other timelines are being thrown into chaos as well, as you can see on this screen where they show the main timeline and the branches breaking off. Now, Owen Wilson's character is Mobius M. Mobius, and in the series, he seems to be the one that is in charge of the TVA. And he tells Loki that he needs his help to fix it, and when Loki asks why, he says, "I need your unique Loki perspective." Now, the reason that he needs this unique Loki perspective is because in each of these variant timelines, Loki is the main problem and the reason they're all going into chaos. Now, they are different versions of Loki, like the female Loki that we see many times throughout the trailer that we'll talk about in just a second. We have President Loki that is shown in one scene, and then there are just other variations of different timelines where Loki is at the center of the chaos. So they are essentially using our Loki, that is the main star of the show, to track down and defeat different versions of himself in other timelines. Because remember, that's what the TVA's job is, protecting the flow of time, making sure one timeline does not affect another timeline, but also making sure all timelines are okay. Loki gets dumped into an office where we see a man with his cat, and he shows us that the TVA keeps record of literally everything anybody says at any point in time throughout their entire lives. He says, "Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said." Then he says, "This is absurd," and a new paper prints out because he said more words, so he has to sign for those new words as well. But on this piece of paper, we actually learned something here. At the very top of the new piece of paper, it says variant L1130. The L obviously standing for Loki, and the 1130 obviously being the variant that this Loki is. Because this is not the main Loki. The main Loki is our main Loki from the main Avengers timeline, our main MCU timeline. This is the same Loki that got killed by Thanos during Avengers Infinity War. So that was the main Loki from the main timeline, and any other Loki that exists in a different timeline is just a variant of that main Loki, including the one that we're going to be following throughout this show. We even hear a character at one point in time say, "You really believe in this Loki variant." Again, calling him a variant because he's not the true Loki. He even wears a jacket that says variant on the back of it. Now, the main antagonist of the show, besides this actual Loki himself, because remember, this isn't the same mature Loki that we knew that died in Avengers Infinity War that went through Thor Ragnarok and essentially his redeeming arc. This is a Loki who just got taken after the events of Avengers Endgame, still a very evil Loki. So he will be a hero and antagonist himself, but the main antagonist looks to be female Loki. Some people thought that this could be Black Widow in the scene where Loki is sitting right next to her, but it's more like him talking to himself, which is going to be a very interesting scene to see. Just because Loki is very clever, and this female version of himself, the one that tends to wear the hood, seems to be very smart, clever, and quick. So it'll be interesting to hear her motive for doing everything. Now, the TVA seems to travel throughout different points of time through these doors, and at one point in time, it looks like female Loki gets one of the guards and is able to open a door for her to go through. This is most likely the main Loki that the TVA is trying to capture, and why they need our Loki's help. Now, we go through many different alternate timelines that we see throughout this trailer, and then at the end, we can see Loki holding his arms up, looking at Owen Wilson's character Mobius, and there's a big explosion and a lot of dust coming at them in the background. This is no doubt Loki trying intentionally to mess everything up. And then it brings us to the scene of Loki stating that he's trustworthy. But of course, Owen Wilson has seen every part of his life and says, "I've literally seen you stab people in the back like 50 times. And in true Loki lying fashion, he states, "And I'd never do it again," showing us more of his Loki qualities, the deceptor, the snake, the god of mischief. Now, one other thing to note is that in one of the scenes, we actually see Loki send sort of a blast of his green magic out. This is something that we really haven't seen before in the MCU. It's kind of like a Wanda blast. So hopefully this will be exploring more of his actual magic in this series. And this series has been confirmed already for a season 2. And given all the different directions they could go with the different timelines and the different variants of Loki, that is just awesome. Not to mention, it's probably going to tie in a little bit to Thor Love and Thunder, considering the fact that Mjolnir has to make its way back to the main timeline after Captain America put it back. It's been rumored that Loki is responsible for that. But if I hear anything else, I'll be sure to make a video on it, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. In the meantime, let me know your favorite part from this trailer in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.